I'm going to be opening the session with a look at a bit of technology which has been mentioned already and was a good idea at the time but didn't really have a huge impact, and that of course is Telepoint. It's a short presentation because it's kind of just a bit of an icebreaker after lunch. And if you've watched the Evan Davis programme that we've got running out there, you'll have already seen the story I'm about to tell. But anyway, it's a few moments on Telepoint, the partially mobile. So what is Telepoint? What is its concept? Well, I'm sure we're familiar with the concept of a cordless telephone in our home. Many people have one. That phone is used for both outgoing and incoming calls, connected to the standard telephone network. But what would happen if we had some public access points also connected to the public telephone network, such that as you took your cordless phone out of the house and brought it in range of one of these access points, it would start working again? The only catch, as it were, is that having established a connection, you can only use it for outgoing calls. The incoming calls will still be routed to your home number. So it's a mobile phone in the sense you can transport it somewhere and it will work, but of course it's not a cellular system and it's not a two-way system in terms of being able to other people phone you, but it's a halfway house. And this was seen as a potential gap filler, and one of its major marketing points was that this would be offered at a considerably lower price offering than cellular. Lord Young, Secretary of State and Trade and Industry, on the 28th of July 1988, issued through the DTI press release saying that they would offer in the UK up to two to four licenses to offer Telepoint services in the UK. Those licenses, it would be agreed that those licenses would all work towards a common interoperable standard for the radio or the air interface at 864 to 868 megahertz with the transmit power of 10 milliwatts, which would give you about 150 metre range. That would mean if you were out and about within 150 metres of a hotspot, as we might call them today, your phone would still work. However, what then happened, although the intent was there to work towards a common standard, the reality is, because of previous investment, all of the companies, certainly the first three, all launched with their own proprietary systems with a view to migrating them to a common standard. The first of those to launch, in fact the first in the world to offer a Telepoint service, was PhonePoint. We have a PhonePoint handset in my hand here, offered by BT, STC, France Telecom and 9X, opened in August 1989. So basically, if you owned one of these PhonePoint phones at home, that works like your cordless telephone. Out and about, if you could see one of those PhonePoint signs and you were within 150 metres of it, it works again. It closed on the 1st of October 1991, having attracted 1,000 customers, and they deployed 3,300 access points. Zone Phone, for anti-zone phone, same concept, different company, different operator, opened in October 89, closed for similar reasons in 1991. Callpoint for Motorola, Shea Communications and Mercury. I'm not holding a handset. I've never seen one. If anybody has one in a loft or an attic and wants to find a good home for it, then you know where to send it. We don't have an example of one of these. It opened in December 1989, closed in 1991. As I say, I've never seen one. So a bit of technology on the history timeline that we've all lost. However, this period is best remembered for the most successful of the four. That is the one that was initially awarded to Philips, Barclays Bank and Shell. That contract was then taken over by Hutchison Telecom of Hong Kong, although Barclays Bank retained a small 5% share in that venture. And Hutchison actually then decided it needed a catchy name, and they chose Rabbit. So the Rabbit phone, and I've got an example of those, I've got quite a few of these, and this is important to be using it here because the launch for Rabbit was Manchester. So it's a local part of the mobile story. And they delayed. So notice that the other 3 licenses, the timeline here, have been and gone before Rabbit launches. Rabbit launches in May 1992, and as such does actually adopt the CT2 cordless standard for their product. It lasted just over a year and closed in December 1993, having attracted 9,000 customers. So in one sense, the Telepoint story, where it fits into the mobile world, is an interesting point in time from what we've heard this morning. Telepoint in the UK as a commercial service, though, 4 licenses awarded, 4 networks launched, all closed with commercial failure as a consequence. So was it a total failure? It's perhaps hard to argue it wasn't. Well, Rabbit was the most successful, but the reality is it was too late. And if Rabbit had been able to launch in the way that it did in 92, shall we say in 1990, when we hadn't gone GSM, digital mobile, you never know. It might indeed have been a different story. Because by 1992, GSM is coming and is here. They have a superior offering with 2 new operators about to join the mobile service provision. We're starting to get to a position now where prices are becoming more attractive. The proposition of Rabbit on cost is now being met by the mobile industry, who then have a superior product. Yet, Telepoint as a concept shouldn't be written off, because although the UK story ends in failure, the Far Eastern story, and particularly the deployment of Telepoint in Hong Kong and Singapore, is quite different, and there it was a commercial success. Now, Hutchison is a company that is writ large in the story of the UK mobile phone 30-year history, because whilst it arrived with Telepoint and closed Telepoint in December 1993, in April 94, that same company launches Orange, and that same company today runs 3. So Hutchison Telecom certainly didn't see Telepoint as a failure and leave the UK mobile market. On the contrary, they absorbed and went with the market into GSM and onwards through all the different generations of mobile. So the legacy of Rabbit lives on, if you like, in 3 today. Now, interestingly, this little piece of history in the mobile phone story has left its mark. Obviously, some handsets are around. You see lots of Rabbit handsets. You can relatively easily get those. Phone point and zone phone are much harder to get, and call point really hard to get. And you still see pieces of Rabbit technology, particularly these upside down letter R signs, which were the hotspots. That's Watford Junction Station, which as far as we know is still there. This is a newsagent's in Bollington, and they've got 4 of these signs stuck to the window. And I went to, when I heard about this, I made a special journey to Bollington. It's south of Manchester near Macclesfield. I was parked in the car park at Waitrose at Alderley Edge, and I just bought myself a coffee, and I looked across the road and couldn't believe my eyes, because you can see, just look up where you can see the for sale board and bring your eyes forward, there's a Rabbit sign there. And so I found one in Alderley Edge, and a colleague found that at Lancaster Railway Station. That's a phone point, access point. So these things are still out there as a legacy of this little piece of the mobile phone story. And I thought it would be nice to at least pay some small tribute to that part of the story in today's conference. So, as I say, a short presentation, a bit of an icebreaker after lunch, but I hope you found that interesting. And the Evan Davis programme, which obviously I've got a slight responsibility for that, because I'm interviewed on that, and so is Mike Short, of course. But it does tell the story of an interesting commercial technical network in the evolution of the mobile phone. So thank you for that.